Let's crush 2022 together. And I know we're only 2 weeks away from ending 2021. 2022 is nearby. And today I want to talk about how can you crush 2022 in a very powerful, meaningful, and most importantly, effective way. The first thing I suggest every single one of you to do in 2022 is to stop watching news. The reason why you need to do that, the reason why you need to have what I call a media detox is because most of the news that you ever watch, number one, is negative, and number two, is not real. What you hear, most of it, I'm talking about most of it is not real. It's not true. You know, America has been divided, okay? And we all know that by now. And the negativities, the propagandas is what is confusing people. The media is going to use fear to control your brain. Instead of watching all this negative news, instead of watching all this unproductive news, may I suggest you in 2022 to start to read more books, okay? To read more business books, finance books, leadership books, strategy books, and especially the books that's recommended by your mentors, by real influencers, by world icon type of entrepreneurs. You know, whatever books they recommend you to read, start to read that. Think about that. If you simply read 30 minutes a day, for a lot of people tells me over the years, I don't have time to read. Let's just, how about start 30 minutes a day? If you read 30 minutes a day, that's only 2% of your time of that particular day. That's not a lot, right? If you consistently reading 30 minutes a day for the next 5 to 10 years, that will put you on the top 10% of any industry. If you commit to read 60 minutes a day, that's 4% of your time on a daily basis. That will put you to the top 1% of any industry if you committed to do so for at least a decade, right? So again, have a media detox, start to read more books. Number two, you need to get rid of I work hard, I work many hours mentality. You need to get into I will only get paid by result mentality. There's a big difference. You know, people who's not successful, people who doesn't make a lot of money, they pretending, they always blaming, they always nagging, they're always saying how hard they work. Well, you know what? The marketplace, this world, companies, the people that you're working for, the people you're working with, the people you're leading, they don't care how many hours you work. Really, I mean, who cares about how many hours you work? They only want to see the result. Your company that you're working for right now, they want to see your results. They want to see you being productive. The leaders that you're leading, they also want to see your growth. They want to see result by numbers, not by words. So get rid of like, oh, I work so hard. You don't understand how hard I work, because at the end, nobody cares. But people only care about result-driven leaders. So start to focus on specific activities. What do you need to do every single day? Depend on the industry you're in. But the bottom line is that, hey, you got to hit your target. You got to hit your volume. You got to hit your sales. You got to hit your numbers. Every career, every industry has some numbers you need to hit for you to elevate, for you to stand out among seas of people in the same company. Make sense? And number three, get rid of I want to get lucky mentality. Get into the volume mentality. Listen to me. I don't have any problem of people say I'm lucky. You know, I think I'm a pretty lucky person myself, but I really believe that in order for you to get lucky, you have to put in a lot of work ethic, a lot of hours, a lot of practice. Meaning, if you're in the sales industry like me, how many phone calls do you make? If you go through many phone calls, if you go for 100 phone calls, you're bound to have about 1 or 2% of the people will return your call if you're just doing cold call, right? If you do an appointment, out of 10 appointments, you're going to bound to close at least 2 to 3 if you know what you're talking about, right? Whatever you're trying to sell, what are you trying to offer, whatever you're trying to educate, right? Don't depend on one big client that's going to retire you or make you a big commission. Don't depend on one talented individual in your company. You depend all your future on that one person. What if that one person quit on you? What if that one person all of a sudden they don't want to do it for whatever reason? right? So get into the volume mentality. Work with multiples, work with many, many people, work with many, many clients, work with many, many different leaders in your company, executives in your company, and eventually you'll be able to identify that 10 to 15% of the people that you need to invest 90% of your energy into in 2022. And the fourth thing, keep your words. Your words is like your credit score. The more you say and the more you don't do, your credit score will eventually go lower and lower and lower. And one day you don't even trust yourself anymore. One thing I learned how to do, and the one thing that I master at, is anything comes out from my mouth, I always keep it. I always deliver. I'm not talking about just big things. I'm talking about everything in your life. When you say something, you got to keep your words. If you say I'm going to spend an hour with my son on a Sunday, doesn't matter how busy you are, make sure you spend that 1 hour with with your son. If you say, hey, friend, I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning because I'm going to help you to move your furniture to a new house, keep your words. Be there at 9 a.m. If you're working for your boss right now and you say, I'm going to turn in this project by this day, you need to turn in that project, way before the deadline, and show your boss that you're an invaluable asset to his company, to him, right? So keep your words. If you say you're going to pay back the credit card company, don't owe people money. Don't just walk off. If you just walk off, you will become one of those person that will always walk off something when a challenge, when something doesn't go your way. I never owe anybody any money over the years. I always pay people, even though when I was struggling, because my words are gold. Why? Because I believe one thing. If I keep my words long enough and actually deliver it, guess what happened? Eventually, I believed in myself. You see, once you believe in yourself, and you start to win small battles, you start to grow, you start to hit your sales goal, you start to make more income, you start to attract the right people around you because they trust you. From belief, they trust you now. Guess what happened? Now you're going to have influence, you have credibility, and you have moral authority that whatever you say, people listen to you, right? Because that's important. So keep your words. Because remember, your words is like your credit. And if you keep saying stuff that you don't deliver and you don't keep, eventually your words means nothing. Not only to other people, but the most important, the worst of all is that you don't even believe in what you're saying because you don't keep your words. Seek out the right mentors. Seek out the right voice. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have thousands of voices coming through our ear, through our brain, and ultimately get into our vein and heart. Who you listen to is important, guys. You know what? If you're born to be not smart, it ain't your fault because you're born to be not smart and you're born to be stupid, right? I hate to use that word, but if you don't learn from being stupid, if you don't learn from your mistakes and you don't grow out of that, then you can't blame on anybody anymore, right? And that's the key. Who are you going to zero in and listening to is everything. All right? It could be me. It could be somebody that you're working with. It could be somebody that you trust totally because that person has always been successful in anything that he or she is doing, whoever that might be. And then the last one, find and stick to one rewarding career, one rewarding company, one rewarding industry for a decade and more. You can't do much if you don't commit to a decade. Okay? You can make a little bit of money. You can make good money. You can make millions of dollars. But to become a master of that industry and accumulate and ultimately have wealth, you got to stick to one rewarding industry, one company that you believe in. All right? You do that for a decade, you're going to make big money. But it all starts with 2022. All right? If you did great in 2021, erase it, refresh it in 2022. It's time for you to elevate. If you didn't do so well, erase it. It's time for you to reset, do something great in 2022. If you absolutely had a horrible in 2021, erase it. It's time for you to rise up and become the man of your words, become the leader for your family, and become that leader that everybody is looking up to because you're constantly adding value, showing work ethic, and you have the best interest of other people before you. So guys, I want to wish every single one of you a happy ending of 2021, but most importantly, welcome you to 2022. Let's go crush it. JW here. And thank you so much for your love and support over the years. I wouldn't be able to continue to produce this kind of content every single week with my production team unless I have your love and support. And if you really believe that I've done a decent job and provided a lot of values, a lot of great contents to you and the people that you care about, simply subscribe to my YouTube channel and share my videos and hit the subscription button. And for that, I appreciate you, because that is what is motivating me, inspiring me every single day to continue to squeeze time out of my busy schedule to produce authentic, practical, raw content for my audience like you. Love you guys. Take care. May 2022 be one of the best years in your life. Take care.
JW here. If you like my content, comment below and download my JW Just Win app. See you next time.